Mark Beal is the managing partner at Taylor, a consumer public relations agency, main office in New York, although works a little bit out of Manasquan in the summer. Mark is also an adjunct professor at his alma mater, Rutgers University, lives in Toms River with his wife, father of 3, and grandfather of 1, and has written a really interesting book, 101 Lessons They Never Taught You in College. And I've read the book, and I was wowed by some of it, which I would assume would be common sense, but obviously a lot of reinforcement there. And this is that time of year when recent college graduates, many of them are pounding the pavement looking for a job, so could not be a better time for a discussion. So Mark, welcome. And my first question is, what compelled you to write this book?
You know, I started teaching at Rutgers 4 years ago in the School of Communications, and after every class and by email, I had these questions about how do I get experience? How do I get an internship? How do I network? How do I write a resume? And I get these over and over and over. So there's no one teaching this. There's no one teaching this. You know, there's a career center and you can probably go in there for a few minutes, but no one's teaching it. And so the questions I was answering, but I thought I could convert the answers into lessons. And so I just started compiling these lessons, like as you said, which are common sense, but maybe to 20, 21, 22-year-olds they're not, because no one's really taught them.
Do you feel they should be taught in college? I mean,
I think it's mandatory. I honestly, as I went through this process, and then as the reviews have come in, so to speak, people saying, wow, this is great. I really think probably, not freshman year, too much is going on freshman year. You're transitioning, it's a lot to go to college, but sophomore year, latest, early junior year, I think there should be a course, a mandatory course on just this transition from college to a career, so that you don't get to senior year, you don't graduate, and you don't have experience, you don't have internships, you don't have a network yet. So I really do think that sophomore, latest junior year, there should be a mandatory course at every school.
Now, your entire career has been spent in public relations, but what you talk about in the book, do you think it applies to basically every profession?
I think it does. I mean, yeah, I think it does apply to every profession. I know there's nuances. You know, if you're going to become a doctor, there's probably a lot of nuances, or a lawyer. But I think it applies to, yeah, just about any profession, any category. As I tell my students, you know, follow your passion. If your passion is sports, well, there's a lot we can do in sports, whether it's marketing or something else. But then you can apply these lessons to that path that you're going to take.
You know, you mentioned internships, and you talk a lot about that in the book. It's amazing to me how many men and women are graduating college and have not even done an internship. Your recommendation is, how many should you do through the course of your college career?
Great question. You know, my daughter is going to be a senior this year, and she started interning right after she graduated from Monsignor Donovan. She started interning with the Lakewood Blue Claws and interning with social media agencies and PR agencies. So she's got what I think is kind of the ideal resume. So minimum 2 internships. And what I'm seeing is a trend now is, to your point, students are graduating, no internships. So the trend I'm seeing is they're now taking internships after graduation, which when I graduated, you would never even think of that. Right. It's very common now that they have to start with an internship.
Do you think the colleges today, the kids graduating college today, are they more or less prepared for reality than maybe 10 or 15 years ago?
I think much less prepared. Much less prepared. I think there's this, you know, they go to college, I have my classes, I have my fun, I do all that kind of stuff, and the career will come eventually. And I teach one course at Rutgers that's all seniors. And so in the spring, they're all about to graduate, and you see it then like, wow, I guess I should have been doing some things. I guess I should have been preparing, and all of a sudden it's here, and now what do I do?
Your book is broken down into 5 different categories or sections. One of them is on interviewing, kind of the do's and don'ts. If it's one of your 5 sections, obviously you think there's a lot of mistakes that are made here.
Yeah, and the other thing too that's changed a lot since, I'll say, when I graduated, it's become a process, the interview process, and I'm noticing now. So first there's a phone interview. That never happened when I graduated. And I tell them, they're judging you only on one thing, your articulation, your confidence. They don't see you. They can't see if you're slouching. They don't see how you're dressed, just your voice. And when they get done, if they don't feel you're confident, if you're not articulate, they're going to say, we're going to pass. And then it seems from there may be like a Skype interview. Well, now they can see you. So they are starting to judge you on your, the way you dress, the way you behave, and of course, whether you're articulate and whether you're confident. And then when you go in for that interview, again, you have to be confident, you have to shake their hand, you have to look them in the eye. I also say you have to have smart questions. I tell my students, don't get into being, just answering questions. Flip the tables and ask them a question, but it's got to be a smart one.
Also, a lot of your book, and this is the book, 101 Lessons They Never Taught in College, is about once you get that first job, once you get that first internship, about becoming a valued member. Don't sit back. Let everyone know right away, I'm here to work and be successful.
Yeah, it's funny. The workplace has changed a lot. You know, we've talked about the idea that now you have more even virtual workplaces, right? Where you don't report somewhere every day at 9 o'clock. But no matter what, bring value every day. Ask for more work. Don't sit back and wait. Be proactive. They'll notice. They'll notice right away. One of the lessons I put in there is, you know, show up early and leave late. And all I mean by that is, if the culture of the organization is everyone shows up at 9, we'll get there at 8:45. They will notice. They will notice. They'll also notice if every day you show up at 9:15.
Absolutely. Yeah. What came first? The 101 lessons or the title that developed the 101 lessons?
Great, excellent question. So originally I was shooting for 100 lessons. Got them all done, sent them to the editor. He said, "Do you know you have 101 here?" I said, "No," but he said, "That's actually better, you know, school 101." And so it was 100 lessons, but then once it went off to the editor and he said, "We have 101," he goes, "You got a better title, 101 lessons." So.
You know, and honestly, and I'm not saying this because you're here, after getting through the meat of the book, I almost feel like it's a must for anyone in college, not waiting till you graduate, but in college. So where can you get it?
Yeah.
Where are the easiest places for someone to pick
Yeah,
this
so
up?
I mean, there's actually one easy place. It's available only on Amazon. So very easy to go to Amazon and look up the title 101 Lessons They Never Taught You in College, or by my name, Mark Beal. But it's interesting you bring that up because I had a high school in upstate New York that just ordered 400. They're giving every student on the last day of school a copy of the book.
Brilliant.
Yeah, which I love because,
absolutely.
I mean, to your point, a freshman in high school, may not mean much. A senior in high school, though, I think it's a great time to get it.
Is there a sequel?
Yeah, there will be. There will be. There's been a lot of great reviews, just positive reception. I get emails all the time. I got one last night from a former student who was thanking me because she's now at her first job. So I think, who knows? Maybe a year or two from now there will be a sequel.
And I'm going to close by saying what I also found interesting is, yes, it's geared for that college student, first job student. I've been in the same job for more than 3 decades. There's actually a lot of stuff that applies regardless of how long you're in your career.
Yeah, so I agree. I look at it 2 ways. There's, to your point, the college student, the college graduate. My son got his MBA 5 years ago, and he called and said, there's a lot that applies here. And to your point, me too. I've been at the same position for almost 30 years, and it's a lot of these things that I try to apply every day.
101 lessons they never taught you in college. Mark Beal, thank you very much.
Thank you.